Hey, Lion King, please wake up from my place. Hey, hello, hello, please. Excuse me. Lion King, hi. Can you please wake up from my place? See, we have our live session coming up. Would you please excuse us? Hey, Lion King. Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr. So he fell asleep. So let's carry on with our session today. Right. Oh, very good morning, all of you. So today's live session, as mentioned in the topic or in the heading of this particular video, so I'll be sharing my preparation experiences with truth, and I mean it. So before we start, so tell me how is it going on from your side? So how are you guys doing? So how is everything going on? Okay, all fine. So in this particular live session, we shall discuss some aspects pertaining to preparation. In specific, I'll be sharing some of my experiences. And also, if you have any questions in general pertaining to preparation, you are more than welcome to pose your questions. Okay. So first and foremost, how shall I start? From where shall I start? This seems bit difficult to perceive and to understand. But as I said, these are my experiences. So let me start right from my schooling. Before I start, the intention of this particular discussion is to clear certain things because we always have the following in mind, like we should pursue success or we should gain success by gaining ranks or by gaining marks, but nothing can be further from truth. So what is this preparation phase all about? How can we overcome various challenges during this particular phase, and what exactly is success? Is it the ranks we get, or is it based on the marks, or is it based on a performance? So, what's the yardstick of success? So, these are some of the things which we'll try to discuss in this particular session. So during our schooling, you might have experienced this. When you were in sixth standard or seventh standard, they might have told you that, especially in some states, especially in southern India, we have this public system where seventh standard, you need to go and write exams outside, not within your school, but outside. So they used to say, like seventh standard, the beginning of high school, so it's very important because it's a public exam. So you need to go outside and write the exam where the papers will be evaluated by someone else. So it's very important. And keeping that in mind, we used to just, or majority of us would just mug up things because we need more marks. Unfortunately, that's how our education system is. Maybe there are very few who actually stress on understanding the concepts, but vast majority it's all about grades, ranks, and marks, so that they can publicize and then gain more admissions in the process. So that's a vicious cycle, which we'll not touch for now. So after seventh standard, once you clear that the so-called barrier, and then comes 10th standard, or we say high school, the end of high school. So 10th standard, again, you hear the following things like 10th standard, the final exams are very important. Again, it used to be a public system way back then where you used to go outside the boundaries of your school and write exams there. And then the papers would be evaluated by someone else. So you don't know how the evaluation is going to be. So you need to give your best. So seventh standard, we were told that we have to work hard because it's a public exam. 10th standard, we were told that it's very important because it's a public exam. And again, when we entered intermediate, plus one or plus two, we call it as intermediate here, we were again told that this is like the actual crossroads. So you are at crossroads. So it all depends on how hard you work, how many marks you score. The greater marks you score, the better your chances are to have a very good life. So we were obviously made to work hard. I'm sure this is the case with you as well. But as I said, my experiences. So we were made to work hard, extra hard, double extra hard, start studying, mugging up things at 5 a.m. in the morning, and then till 10 p.m. in the evening with 1 or 2 hour breaks in between. And then you're forced to sleep, and then forced to wake up, forced to have breakfast, forced to study. So everything is kind of, you know, pressure. It's like a pressure cooker system, uh, unfortunately. So what happened at the end? So intermediate, I scored well theoretically. So because in our state, almost everyone has 99 or even 100% of marks. In Sanskrit, we get 99 out of 100. There are some very rare cases who even get 101 out of 100. I'm just kidding. So that's the kind of scoring system we have. So I got 98 out of 100 in Sanskrit during intermediate, and I know nothing about Sanskrit. I cannot speak even a single sentence. Forget about sentence. I cannot even utter a single word in Sanskrit. I cannot even write the same. Uh, that's never made possible because the intention there was to mug up things and then score maximum marks. So I got 98 or 97 in Sanskrit. My total percentage was 96%. So we had this out of 1,000, so 961 or something, 964, I guess. And then we had this entrance. So way back then we had MSET, the state entrance. We were not eligible for AAPG, Jammu and Kashmir, Andhra, and combined Andhra Pradesh. There. So we worked day in and out. I worked day in and out along with others. And MSET, in my first attempt, let me admit, I was a failure in the eyes of this society, in the perceptional boundaries of this society. I was a failure because in my first attempt in MSET after intermediate, I got 16,000 change rank. The total number of students who have given the exam in a medical stream that year was around 90 or 1 lakh, 90,000 or 1 lakh, out of which I got 16,000 rank, a very huge rank. So that was only with short-term coaching. So I had to drop for another year and spend the entire year for the medical entrance, NEET UG. Now we're calling it as NEET UG. So way back then it was MSET, medical stream. So I spent 1 year. I was frustrated, depressed, used to cry, used to run away from the hostel. In fact, that was the first time I stayed in a hostel. Throughout my life, I was only with my parents. So that 1 year was the first time and the only last time, I must say, where I stayed away from my parents in a hostel. More or less, I should say it's a jail. I used to run away from there every Saturday. Used to, climb walls. Literally, I've done it. I've jumped walls twice or thrice. Some of the in charges caught me red-handed once or twice. So I used to come home. I used to cry. But I'm not here to blame someone. Parents' intention is to make sure that they're giving their children the equal opportunity, so that their intention is to make sure that we are doing good, at least in the eyes or perceptional boundaries of society. So it was a horrible experience. And after 1 year, uh, I said first attempt I got 16,000 rank, and the second attempt, my final attempt, I got some 5,000 rank. The state entrance. It's not national entrance. It's state entrance. That too, where we have thousands and thousands of aspirants giving exam every year at the UG level. So again, there were some 1 lakh or 1,10,000 members who have given the exam, and I got some 5,000 change. So I couldn't get medical seat. Leave about medical seat. So I was eyeing for veterinary, so I couldn't get that. Why veterinary? Because of job guarantee. Because I had no such ideas. It's only from the society we learn these things. So I had no interest whatsoever. My parents were telling something, so society was telling me something. Friends were doing certain things, so I wanted to do the same. So we are literally pushed. So after that, I couldn't get veterinary, and I tried for BDS, dental. So first counseling, no. Second counseling, no. Third counseling, yes. So in third, I should not show my middle finger. I'm sorry. So third counseling, I got or I entered into dentistry. So I had no interest whatsoever. For that matter, frankly speaking, I had no interest for MBBS or veterinary or any of the sciences which are available. I had interest in biology, physics, and chemistry, and that's the reason why I took BPC. I wanted to be a doctor because I was under tremendous influence of peer. We know we have this peer pressure and societal pressure where they wear aprons and where they have this white, along with stethoscopes. So that picture used to haunt me. So I just wanted to be like that. But why? No idea. So what did I want to do after getting MBBS? I had no idea. So very young age, we know very little, and we are very influenced by movies, especially way back then. We had a movie called Shankar Dada MBBS. So Chiranjeevi was a hero. So we were tremendously influenced by all those characterizations where he studies MBBS at the age of 40 plus or 50 plus as per the movie. So it was all done, and then I entered BDS. And let me tell you, till that date, I had no interest whatsoever in what I was doing. And in fact, in 2007 or 8, during my long term, that I consider personally as my darkest phase of my entire life so far. The long term phase, where the food was very bad, the stay was more or less like a jail. And we used to even run away from that particular place. It was all terrifying. We're forced to study, forced to wake up. It's all frustrating. But now, when I look back and see, what's the point in doing all of that? Did I gain something? Yes, of course, I gained 96% in intermediate. But what is it used for? Or what is the use of it? What is the advantage of having 96%? You have no idea what the subject is. You mug up things, you memorize things, you vomit on the day of exam, gain more marks or complete marks or 99%, as I said in Sanskrit. But what for? What for? So the valuable time, the valuable phase of my life and lakhs of lives of young people were simply wasted because of the corporate system or corporate culture we have. See, corporate culture, I'm not saying it's absolutely bad. We have Tata, who is an industrialist. So we have high respect for him. So there are some people who make money and at the same time reciprocate good towards society. That's all good. But in the name of ranks and marks, the corporates, especially some corporates, squeeze in or cash in the dreams of aspirants and their parents, charge exorbitantly, and then make a fool of the entire system we have. And what is that I gained personally? Nothing from that particular system. So this I consider as phase one. I had no idea what I was doing. I was under tremendous influence, so it just went away that way. And then once I entered BDS, frankly speaking, I never wanted to do BDS because I had no idea. The only reason why I wanted to do MBBS is because I was influenced, as I mentioned. Frankly speaking, I was influenced. And also, my father wanted to see me as a doctor. So, because of him or because of characterizations, movies, and peer pressure, I wanted to do that. But I had no interest whatsoever. And then when I entered BDS, I must say, I was really amazed. I'm not saying BDS is superior to other specialties. That's not my point. No matter what we do, I'll get back to this particular point again at the end of the session. No matter what we do, it's about loving it. When I started studying BDS, it was all a dream again because I can call myself a doctor. We used to have aprons, and also some students used to even carry stethoscopes, especially third year general medicine. We used to carry stethoscopes to general hospital. So it was a dream come true to some extent. To some extent. So after studying BDS, then I realized what this education system is all about. What exactly we are here for. It's not for sake of marks. It's not for sake of ranks because I have experienced personally. I'm sure you might have experienced the same. I've experienced personally that these marks are for nothing. These ranks are for nothing. These do not represent our capabilities. They are being projected as if they are everything, but that's completely false. That's completely fake. Let's suppose we take a ranker who got first rank in MSET or undergraduate level. Do you think it guarantees them success? In fact, I've personally seen Many of the rankers, so-called rankers, utterly failing during undergraduation. See, these marks and ranks, I'll get back to this point once again at the end, but I personally realized they are meant for nothing, literally nothing. But what's at stake is our ability to understand the subject, because that's what ultimately matters. Only once we understand the subject, we can apply that clinically for the greater good of the society. That's what we are here studying for, not to open a clinic. Now, let me tell you, this might, as I started initially, this might sound a bit harsh and difficult to perceive, but let me tell you, we are not doing dentistry just to feed our stomachs. We are not doing dentistry just to open our clinic and get some regular income. That's not the objective of any profession for that matter. Then what are we here for? Well, I mean, we are here to take care of or to address the problems in the society. You're doing this specialization so that you can address the oral health issues of the population. And in turn, you will be gaining some benefit, monetary benefit, or respect, or other means of benefits. So that's only a mere tail to this particular task which we are doing. But unfortunately, we see the other kind of perception altogether. We think we are doing dentistry so that the society or the society is ought to give us some money, or the society is ought to feed us. No, that's not the thing. It's in fact the reverse phenomenon. We are here to take care of the needs of the society, which in turn is going to benefit us in different means, including monetary means. I mean, we're literally missing that very simple point. And then let me come to the core of this topic. And before I get back to this core of this topic, do let me know if I'm boring you, or do let me know if you want me to increase my pace so that I can skip the events which I wanted to discuss with you. So, are you guys able to follow? Yeah. So, every summer we used to have these advertisements. ఒకటి 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 రెండు 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 మూడు 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 నాలుగు ఐదు ఆరు ఆరు ఆరు. So I'll translate that in English for those who don't understand Telugu, or southern people can understand and correlate. So it's like when they get a rank. For example, if a college gets state first rank, like 10 members get state first rank, or 5 members get state second rank, they'll repeat that. Like, for suppose the first rank was achieved by 5 students, they'll say we have five first ranks. No, they don't say that way. In order to amplify the effect, they say okati 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 5 times. So that's how stupid the system is. Even now I see such kind of advertisements. I can even share those links with you. They're still available on YouTube. So if you want me to increase the pace, the point is this. It's not ranks which matter. It's not marks which matter. It's about your understanding and love towards what you're doing. So that's the bottom line. Now, coming to my experiences. So far I've told you like how it was till intermediate. And those are the factors which tremendously influence me even till today. Even till today, I'm having these kind of perceptions, perspectives. The kind of orientation with which I speak is largely because of the influence which I had during my not even undergraduation, during my high school, during my +1 +2 high school, etc. So once I entered BDS, then I realized that after going through all the literature, it was really fun going through anatomy, going through all those dissection labs, the practicality. Then I'm sure most of us do develop some interest. See, when I study, no matter how much you study from a book, it's all theory. But once I get exposed, or once we get exposed to practicality, it's even more fun and enjoyable. That's what happened. So first year, in fact, I don't like to boast, but I was the second topper in my class. So I literally was on, high drive. So I was trying to give my best each and every aspect of the subject. I was trying to understand, trying to enjoy. I used to score okay in internals and all, but final exam, I just rocked it, all the Viva and all, and I was second. So I lost to first by 10 marks or so. So I was very happy. I was very pumped up. And that first year scoring literally gave me some boosting, because till then, I was only a failure in the eyes of society. Forget about society. In my own eyes, I was a failure. I couldn't get marks. I couldn't get ranks. I was a failure. I was obviously facing a lot of criticism from all sides of the coin. So, first year marks, they really pumped me up. So, second year, third year, final year, and so on. So, let me skip all that part. But second year, I found something interesting in myself. Second year, I realized that I love teaching. How? How did I realize that? Instead of, I used to rag my juniors in a different way. When we have different modes of ragging. So one of the mode of ragging which I personally chose was asking my juniors questions. So during my second year, I used to call first year students, one or two students in my bus or in my college or before the class when we had some leisure time. So I used to call them up and I used to ask them questions like, what are the different? I still remember some questions. Name all cranial nerves. How many pairs of cranial nerves? Which are all sensory? Which are all? I used to personally love anatomy. I was literally amazed by all the anatomical aspects of a human body and the dissection lab. It was all crazy because uh, we used to just imagine all of them during our intermediate and high school, the dissection labs and all. So that's when I realized that I love actually discussing things or not just asking questions. I used to even explain certain aspects to my juniors. If at all they used to come with some doubt or something, I used to explain them. I literally enjoyed doing that. Observing all of this, my mother asked me to go for home tuitions. So there was a family. They had one son and daughter, and they needed some requirement of teaching to their kids. So my mother asked me to go to home tuition. So second year BDS, I went to based on my mother's suggestion. I went to that particular house where I taught the boy and girl. I still do remember their names, Satvika and I'm not getting the boy's name. So I used to teach them. I used to teach them physics, mathematics, all sciences, including mathematics. I had fun. So I did like that for around 6 months or 8 months. And the best part of it is I used to even earn money. So home tuitions, they used to pay me like 1,000 per person. So way back then, 2008, 1,000 per person, 2,000 per month. It's a huge amount. I was still a student. I mean, no responsibilities whatsoever. So 2,000 rupees every month, it was like a boost, definitely a greater boost. And with the first money, I think I mentioned previously as well, I even bought a mobile phone, a Nokia mobile phone, which I gifted to my father's sister, my atta. So with my first earning, I gifted that to my atta. It was a lovely experience and lovely memories even now. Then I started realizing that I personally love teaching. So third year, fourth year, it's all over, and final year. So final year we had only 6 months of internship. Our batch had only 6 months of internship. So final year we had like fourth year along with 6 additional months. So the total duration was 5 years, but we had the theory part the study part for 4.5 years and 6 months of internship. And then after 4.5 years, then you face several experiences, you have several experiences, and based on which I finally decided that I should go for post graduation, because as you guys are aware of, with BDS definitely there are opportunities, but I would personally say limited opportunities. So after observing the system, after observing my staff, especially my staff, especially some particular staff like Dr. Sunil and Dr. Suresh, where the wife and husband used to come in a car, teach, and then leave. They tremendously influenced me. So I decided to do accordingly. So I wanted to do post graduation so that I'll have better prospects, so that I can enter into academic profession. Because for you to enter into an academic profession, as you know, master's degree is it's like it's a booster. If you have BDS, you can still enter, but the growth is very slow. So for that only reason, I wanted to go for masters. And then 6 months was the limited time we had, but we never complained. And those 6 months, we gave our best. When I say we, I mean myself along with my friends, some group of boys. So rather than complaining, see, usually when we have 1 year of internship, we take it for granted, aram say we prepare, but we only had 6 months, of which 1 month was lost in celebrations. As you know, once you enter internship, you feel like you are the king or queen of the world. So 1 month was lost. So only 4 to 5 months was available for preparation. So then started my next phase. So that is the preparation phase, which I'm going to talk about now. My preparation experiences with truth. So after having discussed all of this, I realized many things. And I literally understood the fact that marks are not important, ranks are not important, but the reality is otherwise. In reality, in order to secure an MDS seat, either you have to get marks or ranks, or you have to pay hefty amount of money. Way back then, it was like if you want to do endo, it was like you have to pay 50 lakh, even 60 lakh in some colleges, even 60 lakh. So I couldn't afford that much amount of money. So the only option which I had was to study and to get that in merit. So 6 months or 5 months, I must say, 4 to 5 months, I must say, was the time where I started my preparation. So, coming to the aspects of preparation, so keeping all the previous experiences in mind, especially the intermediate experience where I had even dropped for a year, right? But still, I got 5,000 rank. So, some might call it, the majority would call that as failure. Only once you get within top 100 or so, you're considered to be successful. So, keeping all those experiences in mind, I made sure that I'm not repeating the same mistake. The mistake in the sense not understanding what I was doing. See, previously I was not knowing what I was doing. I was just doing for sake of society. But this time I realized that doing masters is for my benefit, so that I can have a career in the academic circles, so that I can join some college, start teaching, and start pursuing my passion. So for which I need a master's, and I can't afford so much of money. So I need to prepare and get it by merit. So keeping the past experiences in mind, I shut down all my distractions. And fortunately or unfortunately, we never had smartphones way back in 2011 or 12. I mean, there were smartphones, but we students couldn't afford them. We mostly had these previous generation phones, pre-smartphones. So thanks to them, we were not so heavily distracted. So when we started our preparation, when I personally started my preparation, the only thing, see, let me admit frankly, I said this is my preparation experiences with truth. So let me tell you the fact. I was worried, I was tensed, uh, I was always, pushed by that previous bad experiences. That what if I don't get a rank this time? What if I don't get a seat this time? What if I fail again because of my past experiences? Those past experiences constantly haunted me. I was constantly worried. I was constantly terrified. But but I was lucky enough to have some of my professors in the form of Dr. Sunil, Dr. Suresh, and my mother, of course, my mother, who was greater support to me during those times, who gave me the enough required amount of confidence to pursue my preparation. So even though I was worried, even though I was tensed up, even though I was haunted by those very dark moments in my life. See, some might say, what's there in that but for me personally, because perceptions do change, for me personally, the long term and all were the darkest moments in my life. So those constantly haunted me, but still, I tried to hold on. The only thing I did was, I used to imagine, I'm telling you very sincerely, I used to imagine myself as a topper in the coming entrance. I used to have that memory very vividly. I mean that visualization very vividly. So I used to imagine myself to be the topper. Not that I was overconfident, but I that was the only option I had. Because if I'm worried, constantly frightened, then I'm not able to focus, obviously, on the task at hand. That's it. Over. I have no reservation. Chapter closed. No money. Chapter closed. So in order to open the chapter and keep going, I need to just focus on the task at hand. So that was the only option I had. Not because I had some enlightenment or just like Lord Buddha. No, the only option I had for me to keep going is, to just have some positive thinking in the form of visualization. Positive thinking only in the form of visualization. So I used to visualize myself as a topper in the coming entrance. And let me tell you one thing very frankly. I want you all to experience this right now. Just close your eyes. You see, you're watching this live session along with me. I'm sitting on ground intentionally because I want to be completely grounded. Seriously. So I want you guys to gently close your eyes, no matter where you're sitting, or if you're sleeping, it's fine. Gently close your eyes and then imagine yourself as the topper in the coming entrance exam. So, NEET MDS 2021, which is going to be conducted in December 2020, hopefully. So, you are the topper. You have secured a best rank possible. You are the topper. So, how does it feel? Just imagine the result is out. You just open the website, the result is out. You're the topper in the entrance. So, how excited are you? How amazing do you feel? And just think about your loved ones, those around you, those who love you, those who want to see you progress, your parents. So, how do you think they would feel? Just imagine. Seriously, guys, just imagine how you would feel. So, this visualization, hypnosis, you can name it in any terminology you want, it doesn't matter. Just visualize this, and there is no stopping you. So at that particular point, you'll realize that there is something there is a sense of satisfaction in achieving what you dream of. Again, I'll get back to importance of ranks and marks once again, but let me tell you, practically speaking, in my case, I wanted to see. I told you everything. So in order to move forward, the only option I had is to crack entrance and merit. So just visualize. This doesn't mean that I'm telling you that you should only get first rank to be successful. That would be utterly and complete nonsense. No, that's a different phase or aspect altogether, which we'll get back again at the end of the session. But now, what do you want exactly? You want success? You want to pursue? You want to progress in your career? So, what is that you want, and how is that you're going to achieve? In my case, that was the only option I had. So, I visualized and I did my best. And I hope you got my point. So, this visualization technique literally helped me to keep moving forward with hope and positivity. I don't say I was very excited. Frankly speaking, I moved on with hope and I hoped for the best. I don't know what might happen. Even I had this very big question mark, but I never gave myself that chance. I was not overthinking. The only I was worried, but let me admit, Frank, I was worried. I was tensed, just like many of the aspirants would feel. It's completely okay. I'm telling out of experience. It's completely okay. If you're worried, if you're having those feelings, it only means that you're concerned for your own progress. That's it. It means you are very serious about what you're doing. It means you want to do something which gives you success and progress in your life. That's completely fine. But what's at stake or what matters here is how you overcome that negativity. As I said previously, you cannot remove or eliminate negativity, but you can overcome that with positive stimulus. Use this simple visualization technique. And that's the only thing, I'm telling you, that's the only thing, only core thing that kept me moving during my personal preparation with hope and optimism. And how many are, see, based on that, I give you several tips on day-to-day basis or in hundreds of videos that are available, either in our e-classes or YouTube. So based on that, I've realized many facts, starting with number of hours of preparation. There is no such thing like you should spend 10 hours or 12 hours per day. That's completely and utterly nonsense. And before I start with this, let me tell you another haunting experience which I had. When I started preparation, everyone, almost everyone said it's difficult to crack or impossible to crack entrance in first attempt. Almost everyone said even the university toppers are not able to crack entrance in first attempt. Do you think you can do it? Almost everyone said it's very challenging, it's very tough, but that's all completely false. I'm telling you categorically, that's completely false. How can you decide your result or your success based on someone else's experience? How can you decide your own fate without even experiencing it? You haven't even given the exam and you think you're a failure. It's a disgrace to humanity. Let me tell you openly. You haven't even given the exam, you haven't even tried, and you think you're a failure. You think you can't do it. That's the worst thing you can ever think of or imagine of. I should say that's the most disgusting thing that can ever happen to anyone, even without actually trying. Assuming that we're a failure, it's very, very unfortunate. So these used to literally haunt us. Like even the toppers couldn't crack entrance, then how can you do it? But it's okay. As I said, we do have negative feelings. We are human beings. We are living in this society, constantly facing all of this. But what's more important is overdrying and trying to overcome the same with positive stimulus. So when I started preparation, so as I said, I used to visualize, and then I realized that it's not the amount of hours. Uh, because during the entire preparation phase, I spent an average of 3 to 4 hours in the initial 2 months or 1 month. Then I increased it to 5 to 6 or 8 to 9 or final 15, 20 days or 1 month. I hiked that up to 9 hours or 10 hours. So by the time I completed my preparation, let me tell you again very frankly, I was not out of fear. I was not out of negativity. I still had all those feelings, but the only thing that kept me was that visualization. And let me get back to the date of exam. So we had the state entrance. We were not eligible for all India entrance way back then. So on the day of exam, the only thing I had is just this. I've worked, like personally, I used to think this way. I worked for the past 5 months or 6 months or 4 months, and I personally had the 4 years of theory knowledge, practical exposure. So let me just give my best and then worry about the result after the exam. Because after the exam, we have plenty of time. So let me worry about that later. But for now, let me see what I can do without any worry. And all I did was just I held on to my thoughts. I didn't succumb to my negativity. So I made sure of that. So on the day of exam, even I still remember while giving the exam, it was an offline exam way back then. So I was not overthinking. I was objectively trying to answer each and every question. I wouldn't say I was very confident or I was underconfident. I was just trying to objectively answer all the questions. And I completed the exam, and then I came out of the exam and I ran away to my home. All my friends were gathering, discussing. I ran away to my home. I literally ran to my home. I had a vehicle along with me, so I literally drove it away to my home, and then I started analyzing the paper. So that's over. Then after that, I waited for 10 days, 15 days for results and all. Obviously, very worried, very tense. My parents, especially my father, was frightened. Like, what if this guy again doesn't crack entrance? Again, we have to spend 1 year. He has done his BDS. He's not earning on top of it. Has to spend again 1 more year on preparation. So, what's going to happen to him? Is he going to succeed in life? And then the day of results came. So obviously, it was the happiest day way back then. Way back then. Okay, way back then, it was the happiest day of our lives, the lives of my family, not just in my life, in the life of my mother, in the life of my father, because they were really worried. And on the day of the result, I scored 87% or something. I still don't exactly remember, but I secured 18th rank, state 18th rank, and that's it. My father was completely happy and proud. My mother was excited as usual. And I thought that I had achieved something which no one would achieve. So I was very proud and I was excited. So that's how my preparation went on. Now, coming to the core of the topic, after going through all of these experiences, I've realized the fact that it's not marks which are important. It's not ranks which are important. I can tell you that with confidence because During my undergraduation, I didn't score well. I was scoring, I was having ranks in thousands. During post graduation entrance, okay, I had a good rank, the so called good rank in the societal boundaries and perceptions. So, is it marks which are really important? If I ask myself this question now, I personally feel and I personally have realized that it's not marks which are important, it's not ranks which are important, it's what you're learning which is important. You might say, are you crazy? You're having a coaching institute and you should shut up and talk about ranks and marks. But I'm sorry, I can't shut up because of my experiences. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a secret. Do you not worry about ranks and marks? But based on my experience, I've realized that if I focus on the task at hand, if I'm sincere towards what I'm doing, I need not worry about marks and ranks. During my undergraduation, I was constantly worried about ranks and marks. I failed. Let me admit, I failed. Okay, in the eyes of society, okay, I failed. In post graduation entrance, all I did was focus on the task at hand because I was not confident. I was not overconfident. I was not underconfident. I was like, okay, let me just focus on this. I had a lot of negativity for sure, but I had some visualization based on my past experiences, and I just focused on the task at hand. Even on the day of exam, I'm telling you, I still remember I was not overconfident, I was not underconfident. I was just put. I was focused on the exam, giving the things objectively, answering the questions objectively. I was not overconfident as well. So all my attention was on giving my best each and every moment. That's it. That made all the difference. I was not running after marks or ranks, but I could achieve in my own way during post graduation entrance only because I focused on the task at hand. That's all I wanted to say. So I might be a failure, I might be successful. It doesn't matter. Marks doesn't matter. Ranks doesn't matter. It's what we learn ultimately that matters. Because even now, when I look back and see, in fact, I've learned many more things during my preparation phase than my entire undergraduation from all subjects, not from one subject. So during preparation phase of 4 to 5 months or approximately 6 months, we learned more things. I learned more things. In fact, I used to make notes. I used to literally, I still have some notes, I think, the lateral wall of notes and all. It was more fun. That's the reason why I keep on telling you. I mean, if you enjoy what you're doing, if you are really focused on the task at hand, then you need not worry about marks and ranks. Take my word. See, on one side of the coin, I'm telling you marks and ranks are not important. That's true. But you should also understand that if you want to realize your passion, if you want to progress in your life, all you need to do is just focus on the present task. And once that happens, everything else follows. Ranks follow, marks follow, name follows, money follows, everything follows. So there is a difference. What you're following really matters. So that's what I wanted to highlight in this particular video. Because we think we should always focus on getting first rank, top rank, top rank. I don't know what happens. Our mind goes crazy just like this hair. So ultimately, we falter because thinking of marks and ranks only adds up pressure, only adds up stress. It creates negativity because you are under constant threat. You're under constant pressure that what if you don't score ranks or marks? You know, there is a lot of issues going on in your mind in this entire process. So do not worry about marks and ranks. I got 99 or 98 in Sanskrit. I don't know Sanskrit. So what's the point in having those marks? What's the point in having those ranks? So that's what I wanted to highlight in this particular video. So based on my experiences, I started creating so many orientation videos, including the number of hours you need to allot towards preparation, which books you need to follow, what's the importance of standard textbooks. So I can still go on and on, like what books I followed, which MCQs I practiced. It's up to you. I mean, if you can ask me questions, it's better if I do it in Q&A session. So this is what I wanted to share, my experiences with truth. So I see most of you already posting comments, so I'll get back to each and every one of you. And then I will also extend my uh, view pertaining to the same. And also let me know if the audio is not fine because the earphones, the charging is down, I guess. So let me know. If these are out, I'll try to raise my voice, okay? Hemant is mentioning about some colleges and the corporate system. Exactly, Hemant, because only if I project ranks or marks, everyone will be under impression that, see, that's what I mentioned even previously. Even in our academy, yes, of course, we do have ranks, but does it mean everyone will get a rank? You take any academy. See, we have NEET MDS rank 1. How many of them will get NEET MDS rank 1? So all 20,000. So, the system is in such a way that I get few ranks, obviously. So I project those ranks, right? I project those ranks and I create a kind of impression that everyone who joins the academy will get that rank, but nothing can be further from truth. I've clarified this n number of times. But instead, if you focus on the task at hand, if you focus on getting the subject, getting the concepts right, don't you think ranks follow? Don't you think marks follow? So that's what has been the focus of this academy, right from the beginning, right from its inception. Vaishnavi says you're smart and intelligent, sir, now also. Vaishnavi, appreciate your love and affection, but let me tell you something very frankly. Every one of us is smart and intelligent in their own way. I mean, we should get this. We should get this in our mind. Literally, we should get this in our mind. Because the entire discussion which we are trying to have now, the point is this: there are some corporate systems which make you believe that only those who score first rank or only those who score good marks are successful. That's completely false. There is a beautiful fish which is swimming, and everyone is laughing at that fish because it's unable to climb a tree. You know where I'm getting to. As Albert Einstein rightly said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is a failure or stupid or fool. That's what unfortunately is happening to every one of us. Every one of us. We think only getting ranks will make us success. Nonsense. Do you think my state rank has something to do with the success of PTBD Academy? No. It's only my passion. Do you think only my marks have something to do with what I'm doing now? It has something to do with my passion. Do you think it's my thinking process or my orientation towards marks and ranks which is bringing me all the success now? It's only my passion. Because my passion is to teach and my passion is to focus on the task at hand so that I can teach much better. You observe any session, I will not say all sessions are equally the same, there will be highs and lows, but in almost every session, I try to give my best. I mean, how the outcome come or how the outcome is, it depends on various circumstances or various factors. But I try my best from my side. So it's only my orientation towards what I'm doing is really putting me where I am now. It's not my marks. It's not my rank. I hope you got my point. So if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's a fool or stupid. In fact, you know what a fish does? It swims wonderfully. A monkey cannot swim. Monkey can only climb a tree. A fish can only swim. So that's the only point I wanted to highlight. In fact, that's the core of this entire discussion. So every one of us is smart and intelligent in our own way. In our own way. Take my word. Take my word. Yeah, Priyanka says, asking just one thing though, so much awareness about BDS and MBBS, still MBBS people don't respect BDS. Why so much of hatred for BDS? Why such differences? I mean, both the profession has different importance. Yes, Priyanka, it's an essay question which you have asked me. It's for 20 marks. No, it's for 100 marks. See, first and foremost, why should someone respect you? First and foremost, why should someone respect you? And second thing, why should you bother if someone is not respecting you? That's it. Why should someone respect you, and why should you bother if someone is not, or someone is exuding hatred? See, if I am exuding hatred, if I'm hating you, you think you're getting affected? Think smartly, because I said we're all smart. If I'm exuding anger, hatred towards you, do you think you are affected? No, I am affected. My BP rises. There will be vasoconstriction, vasodilation all over, release of adrenaline. So my physiology is getting affected. My psychology is getting affected. That's it. That answers everything. But practically speaking, because of the perceptions we all have in the existing society, we cannot blame anyone. It's not appropriate to blame anyone, because that's the kind of orientation we have in our society. But why not be a bigger man or woman and then ignore the same? As I said, why should they respect you? I mean, why should they, or why should others respect you when you know the importance of what you're doing? And second, why bother if they hate you? Because ultimately it's them who are getting affected. So Urve's favorite subject is also anatomy. Cool. Yes, Pooja. Because of quarantine, even we have 6 months internship. That's good. But you have this quarantine period, so you can make maximum use of it. So you have plenty of time for yourselves, 24 by 7 for yourselves, so you can make maximum use of it. Oh, Rituja used to make home decorative items and paintings to earn money. That's wonderful, Rituja. Hi, Prerna. Where is Toffee? So, Toffee, we replaced Toffee with our Lion King. So, Toffee is in quarantine, some 400 kilometers away from my place. I am literally missing Toffee. If Toffee were here, I would have sung Soft Kitty and Warm Kitty to Toffee itself. Rahil, really, really great. And by this visualization, I get goosebumps and a broad smile on my face. Exactly, Rahil. That's my point. It's a very simple technique. See, but you need to believe in that. You can do it any number of times in a particular day. Just sit in your comfortable position, not just like this, or in any comfortable position based on your choice. Close your eyes, imagine yourself to be the topper, or imagine yourself achieving what you want. Need not be a topper. That was my technique. You can follow yours according to your dream. Imagine yourself fulfilling your dreams, achieving all your dreams. How do you feel? How does your loved ones feel? That's something which will drive each and every one of us, irrespective of a caste, creed, religion, socioeconomic status. Take my word. Yeah, Kavya is asking, how do you spend your time for preparation? How did you spend your time for preparation? How did you plan for entrance exam? I mean, Kavya, can you be more specific about your question? How did you spend my time? In the sense, I spent my time mostly practicing multiple choice questions, mostly referring standard literature, and then mostly making notes. So we never had any classes. We used to give an exam every Sunday. So that was the only practice we had. But I spent most of the time practicing multiple choice questions and then referring literature, making notes. That's it. More or less, my entire time went towards the same. Rituja, I think I've answered a question previously, but since you raised the same, how to cover the topics which I couldn't complete as per my schedule. First and foremost, if 4 years of undergraduation or 5 years of undergraduation is not sufficient to cover 100% of our syllabus, how do you think we can cover the same in the 6 months or 8 months or 1 year time? So that's something which we all need to ask ourselves. So, does it mean we have to give up? No, it means we have to be smart enough in our approach. So, the approach is to cover as many topics as possible, depending upon the time availability. Frankly speaking, during my preparation, I realized that with time, the amount of time I was spending towards preparation is not at all sufficient. Initially, I started with 1 or 2 hours, and then 3 to 4 hours. And then I realized that this is in no way sufficient for my preparation. Then I gradually increased the same, but still I couldn't complete 100%. But with MCQs practice, this time in these days we have a lot many resources. Way back then, All we had was previous entrants or previous question papers. But now we have several resources along with previous question papers in the form of test series, in the form of e-classes, in the form of discussions anytime in a day, which is made possible with this technology. Way back then, it was all not there. So my point is try to cover as many topics as you can. If you haven't covered certain topics, you have nothing to worry about. But the only question you need to ask yourself is, are you giving your best to complete the given topics in the given amount of time? Are you giving your best from your side? Are you allotting maximum time towards your preparation? Are you hoping for the best? Are you positive and optimistic? So, if you are following all of these, you need not really worry about completing the other topics which you left out. But having said that, we have a schedule where we have been allotting 2 weeks for each subject, along with which we have a revision schedule. And before that, we have cumulative tests. So, what do you think all of these are meant for? Exactly to complete any pending topics if you can, depending upon the time availability. I hope you got my point. Naveen, which MCQs, which MCQ books you followed that? We collected all previous MCQ papers, Naveen. So we practiced based on collecting various previous, last 10 to 15 year question papers, which had key, and then we started practicing them. And mostly we relied on standard references. Way back then, no smartphones, so standard references, and mostly, if at all, we used Google. We tried to get information from articles, PubMed indexed articles based on what our professors told way back then. Anita, so how to be consistent, sir? Because I fall back to a trap if I don't complete my task for that day. Anita, see to that your see. This is one of the challenges which we all face. Uh, Feeling demotivated time and again. But also make sure that you are setting realistic targets. So use our complaints reports, get back through mail for assistance, will guide you accordingly. One practical problem which I'm facing during lockdown is this hair. So I don't know how to manage it. If anyone of you have tips, you're more than welcome to share. I'm literally not able to manage because it's all growing in all directions. Unable to cut, at least beard and all, boys can trim it or we can manage it, but hair, it's really a challenge. So, girls, if you have any tips like how to braid or how to use clips and all, you're more than welcome. I'll seriously try. Prerna, sir, you have helped me throughout my NEET preparation now, and then as now I'm almost done with PG first year now, and still any tip you want to share that can help me go through my PG journey. Prerna, post graduation is where you actually are trying to master your own specialty. So all I would say is complete the given prescribed tasks in your post graduation, including seminars and all. We have a curriculum, but no matter what you do, please don't do it for sake of completion. Because in second year or final year, we do things for sake of signatures mostly. I'm not saying everyone. We do things for sake of getting that pressure off by getting that signature done. So how do you get that signature completed? By showing the work. So the objective there is to get signatures done in our record. So what are we learning? Literally nothing in most of the instances. So don't let the same mistake happen. I'm sure your preparation in UG is different and positive, but at least in post graduation, see to that the objective is not just for sake of completing quota, but rather for sake of actually learning so that you can implement the same in your in your practice the moment you complete your post graduation for greater good, in order to address these problems which are existing in the society, being a troubleshooter rather than being a troublemaker. So that's all I would suggest, Prerna. Sujay, the best way to go on and complete a particular subject and follow the same for another subject too. Sujay, I would recommend a concrete schedule. So check out our schedule, check out our free resources available in general section of e-classes. You can follow any schedule based on your choice. So when you have a schedule in mind, you'll mostly follow it. You'll mostly follow it, right? It helps you positively. I mean, you can consider that as a positive pressure, positive stress. So you have some schedule in mind. It helps you keep going. But there are times where we tend to skip it or miss the schedule. But time and again, we need to reorient ourselves towards that particular schedule, right? So that's the reason why we have several schedules for all of you. Yes, Madhusmita, inspiring. As you mentioned, 6 months duration, hard work needed your motivation, especially this time when I feel down. Good to hear that, Madhusmita. Sabiha, how to plan 6 months preparation, sir? Sabiha, check out our short-term batch. In fact, we're starting short-term batch from this week. So drop a mail, you'll get all the details, including the schedule, and then you can plan your preparation accordingly. Sub says, I'm glad I joined the right place. Sub, may I know your name? Ritika, your experience, your way you used to get here is inspiring. Even I was conditioned to be a doctor, and that was the only way I thought to get respect, love from people around me. Take my word, reality is otherwise. You focus on giving your best, you focus on seeing to that you're progressing on day-to-day basis and excelling in what you're doing. The rest follows. But if you're worried about respect, love, and all, obviously we fall prey to them, and that it's a vicious cycle. So as you rightly mentioned, focus on the task at hand. Try to excel in no matter what you're doing. Just have that willingness to give your best. The rest follows. Thank you, Prerna Vaishnavi, for your love. Ritika, but now I feel everyone deserves to be respected and loved, irrespective of the profession. Exactly. Sometimes I wish I could have enjoyed my journey instead of taking it so much as a pressure. Exactly. Exactly. That's my point, Ritika. I'm glad you framed it in the form of a comment. What I remember now, personally, based on my experience, is not my rank or score. In fact, I don't even remember my score any longer, but what I remember is my journey. And let me tell you, PTBD Academy today, YouTube channel, e classes, and all, what I remember the most is not the success we're getting, not the money we're getting, not the other things we're getting, but the journey as such. The journey as such is something which is more than amazing. That will be there in my memories for a lifetime. So this experience, even now as I'm doing this live session, this experience is what really matters, not the number of likes, not the number of views. I stopped analyzing the same way back during the beginning phases of YouTube channel and all. I was worried about these likes and views, but now, frankly speaking, I'm not even least bothered. I'm not bothered.
Okay, guys. So from tomorrow, Monday, we'll have our regular breakfast sessions as usual. But if at all I have any personal challenges, I'll get back to you prior to the session and I'll let you know the timings if at all there are any changes. So by default, we'll have our breakfast live sessions at 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time. Okay. So I'm glad we could all join and discuss certain issues, and as I said, and I firmly stand on the same. In fact, I'm grounded on flow. So these are my experiences, preparation experiences with truth, and I hope it helped you to some extent. But what really matters here is how we are perceiving. We're all worried, we're all tensed up, we're all scared. It's completely okay. Then we're all humans with feelings. So all we need to do is overcome that negativity with positivity. So positive distractions, cooking, watering plants, interacting, talking with your loved ones, observing nature, whatnot. And most importantly, a powerful tool which we all have right within our hands, visualization. I mean, right in our mind, visualization. Of course, when it is in your mind, it's in your hand, right? So use all of these to overcome all the negativity and see to that you're giving your best. But if that's adding up to your stress, ask yourself this question. Are you doing this for sake of impressing others? or are you doing this for your progress? If you're doing something for your progress, like you're trying to adjust your hair, it's for your benefit. So you do it with passion, you don't take it as a stress. Isn't it? It's as simple as it is. So if you're doing it for self, you'll no longer take it as a stress. Rather you will enjoy doing the same. So enjoy what you're doing, experience it truly, because at the end, it's not the rank or score that you will remember. It's your experience as such which stays in your memories lifetime. And that itself will keep you inspiring. It's like a ripple effect. You have a positive bout of experience that creates this ripple effect and you'll keep going on and on. You think your life stops with this entrance and ranks and marks? You still have a lot to achieve. You still have a lot to achieve. We all have tremendous amounts of potential. And as Vaishnavi mentioned, each one of us. In fact, she said, I am smart and intelligent. And I'm sure she meant each one of us is smart and intelligent. Right? So, you should never judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. So, we're all different in our own ways. We have all that smartness and intelligence within us. And the challenge here is into tapping that potential. Once you know how to tap that potential, there's no stopping you. Even sky is not the limit. So before I conclude, work hard, work consistently. Most importantly, believe in yourself and give your best each and every moment and enjoy what you're doing. Right? Take care. Love you all. I'll see you again tomorrow in breakfast session. And for any further queries or assistance, you're more than welcome to get that through mail 24/7.